The one talent I didn't possess was sitting at a desk in school. Pugna, Ito, Eximus. It meant we come to do great battle. That's what I do every day in business, whether it's in business or it's in this ring. I come to do great battle. You never give up. You keep staying in it, no matter how bad it hurts. Listen, fighters, I'm getting punched and kicked, and the pain doesn't stop you. The pain is what drives you, because you always want to stay ahead of that pain and take as little pain as possible.
Good morning, entrepreneurs. I'm Josh Klenoff. I'm joined today by Steve Mazza, CEO of 7 companies. This is one of them. It's his hobby and a passion, fighting. He's going to talk to us today not just about what it takes to be a great fighter, how he built 7 businesses to be mega successes, but also how every single one of us as an entrepreneur is a fighter, and how to bring out a better fight every day in your business. Mr. Mazza, good morning.
Good morning, Josh.
Good to be at your dojo.
Great to see you here.
I spoke to you last in New York City. You were talking about how the fighter has to get back up, back on his feet again, and you told me about your 7 businesses. I've gotten to know you over the years. I know that one of your hobbies is mixed martial arts. So here we are at one of your 7 businesses, your hobby and a passion, which is full contact fighting.
Yes.
I see the guys fighting. Soon I'm going to get to see you do a little fighting. What drives you to the success you've had?
You know, it's a great question, Josh, and we're going to look way back at childhood. You know, everybody's born with a talent. Some people use their talents, other people don't use their talents. I saw a talent in myself many, many years ago. The one talent I didn't possess was sitting at a desk in school. Okay.
You and me both.
Yes. So, but I did have a talent for understanding business. My dad was an entrepreneur, and all I ever wanted to do in life was work with him every day and understand business and understand a calculator. It was a passion from a very young age. So by the time high school came around, I decided, you know what, school is just not for me. I'm not the guy that's going to sit at the desk and ask the teacher to go to the men's room. The understanding of business I had at that very young age was a passion for me. It wasn't just something for me to do. It was a talent. It was inside of me, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs have that. It's a calling. I decided to use my only talent. I wasn't musical. I wasn't an athlete. I decided business was for me. And that's what I did. I studied business in business. I didn't go to school. I ran a liquor store when I was 15 years old. I ran so many businesses that my dad was in at that time, and I learned everything there was to learn about business and reading. Reading is an incredible thing, my friend. Don't need a teacher to tell me to read. If you're reading continuously through life, you'll learn.
So it sounds like the world was your teacher. You went into the real world, and you got knocked down and you got back up. Tell us about getting knocked down and getting back up. What makes you a great fighter? And not just in the ring here,
right.
In life, in business. Where's that come from?
Passion. Passion and drive and wanting something. I've always wanted to be someone or be something. Watching other kids excel and getting all the rewards for being in school and being athletes and doing everything that everybody wanted them to do and conforming to the world. I, for myself, had this passion to be different and to prove that it's not the only way. I don't have to be an all-star athlete. I don't have to get great grades in school. My passions and talents lie elsewhere. My passion and talent lies in the world of business. I love it. I live, eat, and breathe it every single day, no matter what happens. I told you there was a saying the Romans used when they were conquering all of Europe. It was called Pugna, Ito, Eximus. It meant we come to do great battle. That's what I do every day in business, whether it's in business or it's in this ring. I come to do great battle. When I was a younger kid learning business, and I had a couple of beautiful failures. They weren't horrible, they were beautiful failures. I got back up and I went back again because I didn't fail. I just didn't succeed all the way. I did succeed, although, in learning. I learned what made me understand, why did I fail in this business? What was it? It's the same in this ring. You see these guys behind me fighting. Losses or wins don't really matter. It's getting in there and being there for the fight and walking away knowing you did the best you can and learning from the experience. The same thing in business. I've gone out of business twice. I never quit. I got back up that very next day and said, okay, What am I going to do next? Same thing happens to a fighter. Every fighter's got a great plan when they walk in that ring. That first punch to the face, that plan is gone. All of a sudden, you are forced to be a quick thinker, to use your passion and energy and never give up. It's the same thing in business. You get beaten down in business, you can't give up and walk away. You've got to stand back up, understand what went wrong, use your knowledge and your passion to move forward again.
There's this book by Eckhart Tolle where he talks about the pain body, a body that carries around pain inside. It remembers the pain. I imagine you cannot hear about fighting and intellectualize and then go out and do it. It's a thinking sport on some level, but you've got to experience this experiential learning.
Yes.
You learn with the kicks, you learn with the punches, you learn with the hits, you learn by getting knocked down and beaten and bruised.
Yes.
So tell us a bit, if you would, about what your years, not just in entrepreneurship, but as a fighter with this passion and hobby of yours, have taught you. What have they given you in your skin and bones beyond what they've given you up here?
Definitely given a very good sense of confidence. I'm not afraid of the world. I don't have fears, whether it's in business or fighting. I know I'm going to deal with whatever's thrown at me. That willingness to stay in there and take the punches and take the pain is what excels you past the person who won't. We have a sign in the back here that says, winners are willing to do what losers won't. Okay, and that's how you create winners. You never give up. You keep staying in it, no matter how bad it hurts. Listen, fighters, I'm getting punched and kicked, and the pain doesn't stop you. The pain is what drives you, because you always want to stay ahead of that pain and take as little pain as possible. Even in business, right? You're always ahead of yourself. You're planning next year, you have a vision, you have a mission. You're staying ahead of where you are today. Stay in the moment, stagnate, and die. Same thing in fighting. You've got to see that future. You've got to see the guy moving. You've got to plan your next move. Business is the same. Look at the parallels. You're taking punches and hits and kicks, and no matter what happens, you can't fall apart and give up. You can't fall on the floor and curl up and die. You've got to stay in that fight.
Now, I've known you for years.
Yes, sir.
And it's fascinating because we did an interview years back when we were at an event, and we just grabbed a little bit of footage, but we have footage from dozens of people. And when people viewed it, I got some fascinating feedback on you. People said, I like him, I trust that guy. But you're the fighter. You're not the guy who's peaceful and blissing out and warm and fuzzy, but yet there's something very approachable, very trustworthy, very unthreatening about you, even though you could be the most threatening force, and clearly would be if you wanted to be out there. Is that just sheer coincidence, or is there something about being so full of fight that actually puts you at peace? Like you say, you know you can handle whatever comes at you.
Yes, you know, it's a great observation. You'll notice any of these guys here today that are fighters are the same. We have an inner peace that other people don't get to experience because we don't have the normal fears that other people have. Business is the same. In business, you're dealing with so much on so many different levels, especially an entrepreneur, that what do you have to fear? You know you can handle anything that's thrown at you. That inner peace is the best thing you can ever have. It allows you to be charismatic. It allows you to be honest with people. I don't have to hide anything. I don't have to walk around and have any fears to hide or keep in the background like most people. They try to talk around their fears and put on an air of, you know, I'm going to sit up straight and tall and be a tough guy. You know what? That hurts a lot of people. Instead of just being who they really are and admitting to who they are, because we've all got great things about us and we have some not so great things about us. Take those great things about you, turn them into whatever you need to turn them into, whether it's in the ring or in business. Bring your passion to it. You'll always have success.
This
Always.
sounds like a scene straight out of Fight Club,
Yeah.
where they completely crack open this shell of appearance. And as soon as he gets in touch with his fighter, his inner fighter, he achieves an incredible degree of peace, of acceptance, even while he's getting the pulp beaten out of him,
Yes.
while he's getting just brutalized. There's got to be something in what you're sharing about how we come to peace, how we come to terms with the world around us.
Let me tell you something about people that a lot of people don't know about themselves. We are way stronger, so much more intelligent, so much more passionate than we can ever imagine until you test yourself. And all of a sudden, your limits become very, very different than other people's, Josh. Now you think about people who have really lived in adversity, people who have been in POW camps, people who have been sick, people who have been poor and worked their way out of poverty. Where does that come from? It comes from an inner strength. How do you develop inner strength? By understanding your limits of what you can manage and what you can't. When a fighter's getting the body just beat up and knocked around, there's an inner peace that says, I can take this. You can't dominate me. I'm stronger than you. Go ahead and show me. Go ahead, hit me some more, pal. I'm coming back. I'm just taking a breath. It's the same thing in business. We've got so much more inside us that we all can achieve in business. So even a group like the Helm CEO, when we go there and we talk to each other, we experience the other person's passion, drive. We learn from that and we draw from it because that's who we are. You keep expanding that knowledge base, you keep testing your limits, and guess what? Your limits get further and further.
There's a book, and it's a tough book to get through. It's called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And he talks about his days in the concentration camp, his years in the concentration camp, and how when he was at his worst, he was naked, freezing, beaten, battered, brutalized, tortured by his Nazi captors. He's sitting there, and no matter what they did to him, they couldn't control his mind. It was up to him to ultimately choose his thoughts. They couldn't take his dignity away.
You spoke about his physical world and how he's taking a beating and he's freezing cold and he's naked. That's a separate entity from his mind. We all have the power to control our thoughts. No matter what's going on in your physical world, in your mind, you can direct your life to go where you want it to go. There's not a thought process to taking physical pain. There's a thought process to moving past it. I can separate my body from the pain and go back to thinking. Thinking is what we all do. We control our minds. So if I'm getting beat up in the ring, I'm not thinking about that physical pain. What I'm doing is strategizing. I'm moving from out of my physical body into my mental state, and I'm saying, how do I get out of this? I don't want my body to keep taking this pain and these hits. So as I'm taking that beating, I'm not falling apart, Josh. The same thing is in business. The same thing as that gentleman in the concentration camp. His mind was not on the physical beatings and the suffering he was taking. His mind was on taking him to a better place where he can feel happy and feel good. It's the same thing in that ring. It's the same thing in that business. When you're taking your worst beatings and you're going down as far as you possibly can, if you fall apart and give up, you won't get back. You won't be there. The only thing that's going to take you to another place is your mind. Your mind has always got to be calm. Someone who's been through those hard times of being in a concentration camp or being sick or being poor, those people were the ones that had the mental strength to move beyond where they were.